Well, here we are with the first of two videos coming back to back from Jake, your resident content cowboy. Yeehaw. And boy, oh boy, the media wants you to hate Cyberpunk. Every single article is about how awful Cyberpunk is. This one particularly terrible game that seemed to rocket out of nowhere to destroy everyone's lives. And it's getting absolutely ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying there aren't valid criticisms about it. There are. Of course, there are valid criticisms with anything. But the games media is piling on this game in such a bizarre way. Let's read this article a little bit and see what valid criticisms there are and where we are really losing the plot. Now, of course, we have to remember people want clicks. They want eyes on what they're doing. Heck, I want eyes on what I'm doing, so I design thumbnails and come up with titles, so hopefully you click my video and watch it. We get it. It's the commodity that we're trading in, is attention. So I understand, but boy, unlike any game in recent memory, they are trying to trash this game and get everything they can out of it. It feels like we're squeezing blood out of a stone. My goodness, here we go. How Cyberpunk 2077 perpetuates transphobia and why gamers are calling it an act of violence. First off, I don't know a lot of... I think the term gamers is so bizarre because it's only used negatively to talk about people who play games. The only time I hear gamers is when gamers are horrible. But let's hop into this article a little bit and see if we can find something of value and maybe something that's overblown. Hey, maybe we'll find neither. Cyberpunk 2077 might offer a never-before-seen picture of transhumanist experience with its fully rendered sci-fi dystopian world, but its portrayal of trans characters is anything but progressive. It's interesting to me right off the bat that we start here that a portrayal of something has to be progressive. I don't know that it does, but okay. According to critics, Cyberpunk 2077 not only fails its trans audience, but seemingly goes out of its way to perpetuate negative stereotypes. However, while this is already problematic, what makes the controversy surrounding 2077 even worse is the response the critics of the game received. Several trans critics have been harassed and mistreated online, creating an atmosphere of violence towards the trans community that Cyberpunk 2077 developers choose to ignore or outright poke fun at. And let me say, as always, there's no reason to do this. This I do think, I don't know how widespread it is. People just, tweet at each other awful things. People post awful things on YouTube videos. I don't know why you need to do it. I love people coming in and disagreeing and having a conversation about it. You can even say my videos suck or something like that. But I do think it's weird to harass someone for pointing something out. Just let them do their thing and move on. It doesn't affect your life if you disagree. They say their character creation is transphobic. So you can choose various aspects of your genitals. You can choose to forgo your genitals entirely. In and of itself, it isn't necessarily problematic or transphobic. At first, many trans players were happy with the idea that gender would not be determined by the character's genitals. However, that possible excitement turned to disbelief. Did it? When gamers realize their character's gender and pronouns are not determined by genitals, but rather by voice. Only deep voice characters can be identified as male, while higher pitched characters are identified as female, which purports the harmful idea that people's genders can be identified by certain traits. Okay, let's unpack this a little bit. Not everything is going to be perfectly tailored for how you want the world to be. I'm not saying that people can't try as best they can, but not every game gets everything right. It's weird that we're going so hard against Cyberpunk for this when there are so many games. Like Cyberpunk lets you not pick genitals. Cyberpunk doesn't care about your character's gender, but I guess they have this system where your voice chooses your pronouns and stuff like that. We do have to recognize that this is so much further than most games go. I just think the games media wants to make hay with Cyberpunk 2077. It is time. They are doing everything they can to attack this game. This is, for the most part, one of the more progressive character creations I've ever heard of. But, okay, it could be better, sure. I guess everything can be better. I'm not saying you can't criticize it. You can criticize it. But the level that we are going at Cyberpunk 2077, this is a hit job. Not this article. The media tone in general around this game is a freaking hit job around Cyberpunk 2077. It's bizarre. There are occasional appearances of trans flags, a few characters who may or may not be LGBTQ, but a majority of the characters appear to be cisgendered, heterosexual. Okay. However, several trans bodies appear through posters in Night City. There are femme characters with bulging, highly transparent penises, objectified for amusement. In her review, they notices the ads. In-game advertisements for the drink Chromanticore, they fetishize trans bodies in a way that relegates them as the other, treating them as both exotic and sexy. Now, what I've heard about this is it's a commentary on that. So you can't show an article and be like, look at this like rampant consumerism in this ridiculous way, and then also have that same ad be progressive. I mean, do we really need the character we're walking with to go, isn't that dumb? I can't believe they're doing that. Come on, Kimosabi, let's move on. Like, we can see that and think, oh yeah, that's weird. That's dumb. I think that's kind of the point, is for you to see it and go, oh, how gross that's the advertisement in this world. But okay, as they say, there's never any contrast established. While other elements, players see how the commodified image contrasts with the rougher, harsher reality. This is not the case with LGBTQ characters, especially not trans characters. It sounds like maybe they could do better in this regard, but it also sounds like the fact that they have included trans imagery is now being looked at so negatively because they're not making this huge message about it. But I think they are making that message from the very little thing about posters or whatever I've seen. Now, maybe I'll play the game and I'll go, oh no, I totally disagree, actually. This is pretty transphobic. Maybe I will play the game and think that. I don't know, to be fair. So I can't make a definitive statement. But what I can say is, without question, the games media wants this game to fail. They want to tear it down. There are a ton of articles like this, and the reason these articles come out is because they get eyes. They get clicks. I'm talking about it now. We're not talking about the article that says Cyberpunk 2077 handles things pretty well. It just doesn't exist. So now we're in this weird middle ground. Does this person really believe this? Are they trying to get eyes on it? Are these valid criticisms, or are they way overblown? I don't know. You let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been Jake, your resident content cowboy, saying, Mwah. Goodbye, everybody.